The shadow people. Are they watching you? Hey, Uncharted Realms fam. Welcome back to another spine-chilling dive into the unknown. Today we're diving into one of the creepiest phenomena out there, shadow people. You know those dark, shadowy figures you sometimes see out of the corner of your eye? The ones that vanish when you look directly at them. People all over the world have reported seeing them, and the scariest part, they're often watching you. In today's video, we're sharing real, first-hand accounts of shadow people encounters that'll make you question what's really lurking in the shadows. Are they watching you? Let's find out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode of Uncharted Realms. Let's get into it. 1. The Unsettling Watchers. Let's start with a story that'll send shivers down your spine. Imagine you're 13 years old, sleeping in your bunk bed, when you suddenly wake up in the middle of the night. You feel watched. You look to the edge of your bed, and there they are, two shadow figures, perched like statues, their heads tilted as if they're studying you. That's exactly what happened to one person who shared their story with us. They described these shadow people as tall, featureless, and completely black, like they were made of darkness itself. The figures didn't move or speak, they just stared, their presence heavy and unnerving. The person said, "I just rolled over and went back to sleep." But can you imagine how creepy that must have been? They later learned that their ability to see spirits might run in their family, passed down from their mother's side. So, were these shadow people curious, or something more sinister? Let's keep going. Next, we have an even more terrifying encounter. Picture this. You're 7 years old, tucked into bed in your family home. It's 2 a.m., and you wake up with this overwhelming feeling that something bad is in the room with you. You scan the darkness, and that's when you see the shadow person standing near your bed, holding what looks like a knife. It doesn't move, doesn't speak, but its presence is pure menace, like it wants you to know it's watching. The person who experienced this said, "I think it was there as an observer, sent to gather information for some unknown purpose." Can you imagine feeling like you're being studied by something that shouldn't even exist? This story makes you wonder, what do shadow people want? Are they just watching or waiting? 2. The Persistent Observer. Now, let's talk about a shadow person that didn't just appear once, it stuck around. One person shared that since they were 7 or 8 years old, they've seen the same shadow figure in their home. This entity, which they described as a tall, dark gray figure about 6.5 feet tall, would either sit in an antique chair or stand at the top of the stairs, always in the hallway just outside their room. It never came closer, never entered their space, it just watched. They said, "It was like it was keeping an eye on me, but I didn't know why." Things got even stranger when they used a Ouija board and asked who it was. The board spelled out Harry, and when they asked what it wanted, it said, "Protect." So, was this shadow person a guardian, or something else entirely? The fact that it was always there, always watching from a distance, made their home feel like a stage where they were constantly being observed. How would you feel knowing something like that was watching you every night? 3. A Shadow on the Run. Not all shadow people stick around to watch for long. One person shared a story from when they were 12 years old. They were running home from a store on an overcast afternoon, feeling carefree, when they noticed something odd. Behind some bushes near their house, they saw a black, man-shaped shadow. Thinking it might be a friend, they called out, but then it started running down their driveway toward the backyard. They said, "I still don't know what I saw. It began running toward my house, and I just froze." For that brief moment, though, they felt its gaze like it had been watching them before it decided to bolt. What was it doing there? Was it spying on them? gathering intel for some unknown reason? This encounter shows that shadow people don't always stick around, but even a fleeting glance can leave you feeling like you're being watched by something you can't explain. 4. A different perspective. Now, here's a twist: not all shadow people are terrifying. One person shared a completely different take on their encounters. They said they often see shadow people during moments of emotional distress, like during panic or anxiety attacks. They'd notice these shadowy figures peeking around corners, but the moment they looked directly at them, the figures would vanish. Over time, they started to see these entities as helpful. They even said, "One stopped me from hurting myself once." Eventually, they got so used to the shadow people that they'd invite them to join while watching horror movies, finding their presence oddly comforting. Imagine that, going from being creeped out by shadow people to feeling like they're your movie buddies. But even in this case, the theme of being watched is still there. They're always around, observing, whether you're in distress or just chilling on the couch. It makes you wonder, are shadow people always malevolent, or do some of them have a different agenda? 5. What are they? So, what are shadow people? And why do they watch us? Some believe they're spirits or ghosts lingering in our world with unfinished business. Others think they're interdimensional beings slipping into our reality to observe us like we're part of some cosmic experiment. There's even a scientific angle. Some researchers link shadow people's sightings to sleep paralysis, where your brain is awake but your body isn't, often causing hallucinations of shadowy figures. Emotional states like stress or grief might also make you more likely to see them, as we heard in that last story. But whether they're paranormal or psychological, one thing is clear: the feeling of being watched is universal in these encounters. It's like they're studying us, waiting for something. But what? That's it for today's deep dive into the shadow people. From eerie observers at the edge of your bed to shadowy figures that stick around for years, these entities seem to have one thing in common: they're watching. What do you think shadow people are? Have you ever felt like one was watching you? Share your stories in the comments below. I read every single one, and I might feature yours in a future video. If you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss our next journey into the unexplained. Until then, keep your eyes peeled, because you never know who or what might be watching you. See you in the next one. Subscribe the YouTube channel for more.